Hello, and welcome to the English Channel, a simple space for curious minds and growing English skills.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm Liam.
And I'm Lisa. Great to be here.
Today we're taking a fascinating journey, really, into the everyday English words and phrases that just pop up all around us. We're talking about the language you hear in, casual conversations, maybe stuff you see online, or even language you might need when you're traveling.
That's right. And it's super important for anyone navigating the English-speaking world, whether you're actively learning English or maybe you just want to feel a bit more confident understanding things.
Yeah.
Grasping this kind of core vocabulary is just incredibly valuable. It's really the key, isn't it, to unlocking clearer communication
Definitely.
and getting a better feel for the language, maybe even sort of the cultural nuances, feeling more at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in this deep dive, our goal, our mission, if you like, is to go beyond just simple definitions. We
Yeah.
want to explore some of the subtle differences, maybe some interesting quirks, and definitely the practical ways common English is used.
Yeah, the real life stuff.
So hopefully, by the end of our chat, you'll not only have, a richer vocabulary, but also a better feel for how these words and phrases actually work in practice.
Okay, where should we dive in first?
Well, let's start with something really basic.
Hmm.
The clothes we wear, it seems simple, but the names we give things can have some interesting twists.
Ah,
Especially, when you compare American and British English.
that's a great starting point. Yeah, US versus UK thing. Take the word pants, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
In the United States, that's what you wear on your legs, right?
Yeah.
Your jeans, your khakis, whatever.
Standard term.
If you use pants in the UK, well, you're talking about underwear.
Yeah, completely different meaning. Could lead to some awkward moments.
Definitely awkward. So yeah, in the UK, what Americans call pants are usually called trousers.
Trousers, exactly.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a small thing, but definitely good to know. A good heads up for travel.
For sure.
Okay.
Okay, what about shirts? Upper body stuff. Right, so shirt is the general term. A common type is the long sleeve shirt. Pretty literal, right? Sleeves down to your wrists.
Mm-hmm.
And key features you often find are the collar, the bit around the neck, and buttons down the front to fasten it.
Right. And sometimes people call it a button-up shirt, too.
Exactly, yeah, button up or button down sometimes. It just emphasizes the buttons.
Okay.
And then, of course, the opposite is the short sleeve shirt, where the part covering your arm is shorter, usually ends above the elbow.
Makes sense. Then you got the tank top, no sleeves at all, good for warm weather.
Or layering, yeah. And a specific type is the spaghetti strap tank top.
Right, with the really thin straps, like spaghetti.
Exactly.
Okay, going back down. Bottoms again. Jeans. Everyone knows jeans, right? That denim material.
Pretty universal.
And khakis, those are often like cotton trousers, maybe beige or tan. Bit dressier than jeans sometimes.
Yes, sort of smart casual often. Then for comfort, you've got sweatpants.
Oh yeah, ultimate comfort wear. Lounging, exercising.
Yeah. And then leggings, also called yoga pants a lot, especially for women. Tight-fitting, stretchy.
Got it. What about stuff for your head?
Headwear, right. Well, in the U.S., the baseball cap is super common. Just calling it a cap can sound a little old-fashioned, maybe.
Huh, interesting. Okay.
Then for sun protection, you'd wear a sun hat, wide brim usually.
Keeps the sun off your face and neck. Good idea.
And for cold weather, a winter hat, or you often just hear beanie.
Beanie, yeah. Keeps your head warm. Okay, feet next. Footwear.
Let's do it. Slip-on shoes, easy on, easy off. No laces, no buckles.
Convenient.
Sandals open-toed for warm weather.
And in the U.S., those rubbery ones you wear to the beach are usually flip-flops, right?
That's the common term, yeah. Flip-flops.
Yeah.
Then for wet weather, rain boots. Waterproof.
Keeps your feet dry. Good.
Yeah.
What about sneakers?
Well, the broad term is often tennis shoes, even if you're not playing tennis.
Right, like athletic shoes, trainers.
Exactly. Covers running shoes, gym shoes, casual sneakers, all that.
Okay, and fancier shoes.
For women, there are high-heeled shoes, often just shortened to high heels.
Mm-hmm.
And for both men and women, for more formal occasions, you'd wear dress shoes.
Got it. And the layers underneath all that.
Ah, yes. Underwear. Or you can say undies informally.
Undies, okay.
For women, there's the bra. And for men, common types are briefs, boxers, or boxer briefs, which are kind of a mix.
Right. Wow, okay, that's actually quite a lot just for clothes.
It is. Lots of subtle differences in specific terms.
Okay, let's imagine we've got dressed, and now we're stepping outside, maybe into a garden. Springtime.
Oh, lovely transition. Yeah, gardening and springtime phrases. That's a nice topic.
So if you're starting a garden, what's the first step?
Well, you need to plant seeds in the soil. The soil is just the earth, the dirt where things grow.
Right. And after long winter, when things start waking up again, flowers appearing, trees getting leaves.
Ah, that's when you hear people say spring has sprung.
Yes,
Yeah.
I like that one. It's very evocative.
It really is. It just means spring is finally here, nature's awakening.
And one of the classic sounds of spring.
Definitely birds chirping. That cheerful sound birds make. It's such a sign that winter's over.
It really is uplifting. What about the plants themselves before they flower?
You see a bud. That's the little compact thing on a plant that's going to become a flower or a leaf. It hasn't opened yet.
Like a promise of what's to come.
Exactly. And when the seeds we planted start growing, pushing up through the soil, we say they're sprouting.
Sprouting. And little baby plants.
Those are called seedlings. Very young, tender plants.
Okay. And the main event for many flowers.
When they bloom, that means they open up fully, show their petals and colors.
Beautiful. Now, there's an idiom related to this, isn't there? Nip it in the bud.
Ah, yes. Good one. It doesn't actually have anything to do with gardening, though.
Right. It's figurative.
It means to stop something bad, like a problem or a conflict, early on, before it gets bigger or worse.
So, like, if there's a small disagreement at work, you address it quickly.
Exactly. You nip it in the bud before it escalates into a major issue. It's about early intervention.
Interesting how language borrows from nature like that.
Yeah.
Okay, from gardens to maybe something a bit less pleasant, but very practical.
Yeah.
First aid and health.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Hopefully you won't need these terms often, but they're really useful to know just in case.
Absolutely. So if you get a small cut,
A common first step is to clean it, of course, and then apply some antibiotic cream.
to prevent infection.
Right. And in the U.S., a really common brand name you'll hear is Neosporin. People might just say, put some Neosporin on it.
Okay, good to know. And then you cover it.
Usually, yeah, with a Band-Aid, which is actually a brand name too, but it's become the general term for an adhesive bandage.
Like Kleenex for tissues.
Got it.
What if you feel unwell, maybe hot?
You might need to take your temperature, and the tool for that is a thermometer.
Right. Lots of different kinds these days.
Mm-hmm. Digital ear thermometers, forehead ones.
Okay. What about reactions, like to pollen or a bee sting?
That would be an allergic reaction. And for milder reactions, people often take an antihistamine.
And again, a common brand name in the U.S.
Benadryl. You'll hear that one a lot for allergy relief or mild reaction.
Benadryl, okay. And if you're
Right.
just generally feeling unwell,
You might say, I'm feeling sick, and you might need to take medicine. That's the general term.
but you could be more specific.
Sure, like taking an allergy pill, or if you have a headache, a pain in your head, you might take Tylenol, another common brand name for pain relief.
Tylenol for a headache. Got it. What about a specific health situation for women?
You might need to take a pregnancy test to see if you're pregnant.
And the results.
Can be negative, not pregnant, or positive. If it's positive, you might say, I'm pregnant.
Okay. Something else minor but annoying. Getting wood in your finger.
Ouch. Yeah, a splinter. That little piece of wood or glass stuck under the skin.
What do you use to get it out?
You typically use tweezers, those little pincers for grabbing small things.
Tweezers. Good tool to have. And speaking of tools, it's good to have a collection of these basic supplies, right?
Definitely. In a first aid kit, that's the box or bag with essentials like Band-Aids, antibiotic cream, maybe some gauze, tape.
Cough drops for a sore throat.
Yeah, often included too, just the basics for minor injuries.
Okay. Now, if it's more serious or you need specific medication, you see a doctor.
Right. And if the doctor decides you need a medicine that you can't just buy off the shelf, they'll give you a prescription.
Which is like an order for the pharmacy.
Exactly. The doctor prescribes the medicine, maybe antibiotics for an infection, and you take the prescription to the pharmacy to get it filled.
And to see the doctor in the first place, you usually need to.
You need to book a doctor's appointment or schedule an appointment. Just means arranging a time to go in.
Okay. What about more serious injuries, like falling badly?
Well, unfortunately, you could, say, break a wrist, fracture a bone.
Ouch. And what helps that heal?
Often you'll need a cast. That hard shell they put around the broken limb to keep it still while the bone mends.
Right, the cast. Okay, shifting to dental health now. Pain in your mouth.
Could be a toothache, pain in a tooth, or maybe a tooth feels sensitive to hot or cold food and drinks.
And that could be a sign of...
A cavity, a little hole or area of decay in the tooth.
And what does the dentist do about that?
The dentist needs to fill the cavity. They clean it out and put in a filling material.
Okay. What about getting sick from food?
Ugh, food poisoning. Not fun. Often makes you feel nauseous, like you want to vomit or throw up.
Yeah, unpleasant. Okay, back at the doctor's office. What are some things they do during a checkup?
They'll often use a stethoscope, that instrument with the earpieces, to listen to your heart and lungs. They'll usually check your blood pressure using that cuff on your arm.
Right.
And sometimes you might get a shot, which is an injection, maybe a vaccine or medication.
Okay. And finally, if you're feeling generally unwell, head hurts, sniffles.
Yeah, typical cold symptoms, you might say, my head hurts, my nose is running, my throat is sore. Put it all together and you'd probably say, I think I have a cold.
Got it. That's a really comprehensive look at health terms.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears completely. How about makeup and personal care?
Sure. Another area with its own specific vocabulary. If you use makeup, you might start with powder on your face.
Applied with?
Usually a brush or maybe a sponge. Sometimes people jokingly call those little pads a poof.
Oof, okay. And for eyes?
There's a whole routine for some people. You might curl your eyelashes first using an eyelash curler. Then apply mascara to the eyelashes to make them look darker or thicker.
Mascara.
Then maybe eyeliner along the edge of the eyelid to define the eye.
Okay.
And eyeshadow for adding color to the eyelid itself.
Lots of steps. What about vision correction? Not makeup, but related to the eyes.
Right. If you need help seeing clearly, you wear either glasses or contacts, which is short for contact lenses.
Contacts, yeah, the little lenses that go right on your eye.
Exactly. Back to makeup. What about covering imperfections?
That would be concealer. You put it like under your eyes or on spots.
And for adding color to your cheeks.
Blush gives you that rosy look.
And on the lips?
Lipstick. Or lip gloss, lip balm. But lipstick is the classic term for color.
Right. What about skincare? If your skin feels dry.
You use moisturizer or lotion to hydrate it.
Good. And for underarms, to prevent odor.
That's deodorant. Comes in different forms, like a stick, roll-on, spray.
Cream sometimes too, yeah.
Okay. And then at the end of the day, getting all this makeup off.
You'd use makeup remover, special cleansers designed for that.
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch topics again slightly.
Okay.
Something about names.
Ah, yeah. Common shortenings of English names. This happens all the time.
Right. Like long formal names often have shorter everyday versions.
Exactly. So Michael almost always becomes Mike.
Yep. And William.
Usually Will. Or Bill sometimes.
Okay. Daniel.
Dan.
David.
Dave.
Seems pretty standard.
It is. Let's do a few more. Joshua.
Josh.
Christopher.
Yes.
Benjamin.
Dan.
And Jonathan. Often John. Or John. Yeah, those are super common. You hear the short versions way more often in casual chat. Totally. It makes things feel a bit more informal, friendly.
Okay, let's step back outside again. Weather, outdoors, summertime stuff.
Sounds good. If you're outside, especially in the evening or near water, mosquitoes might be around.
Oh, yes. So you need
Bug spray or insect repellent to keep them from biting you.
essential in some places. What if it's a lovely sunny day and you just want to relax outside?
You might say you're going to soak up the sun. Just enjoy the warmth and light.
Nice phrase.
Yeah.
But sometimes warm weather isn't just warm, it's sticky.
Ah, you mean humid, when there's a lot of moisture in the air?
Yeah, the kind of weather that makes you sweat easily.
Exactly. That's humidity.
And if you're soaking up the sun, you need protection, right?
Absolutely crucial. You need sunscreen, lotion, or spray to protect your skin from sunburn.
Don't want to get burned. Okay, how about a couple of common idioms? Those phrases that don't mean what the individual words say.
Sure. Here's a classic. Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Okay, what's that about? Not literally about chickens, I assume?
No. It's advice. It means don't assume something good is going to happen until it actually has. Don't make plans based on something uncertain.
Right. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, don't spend the lottery winnings before you've actually won.
Perfect example.
Okay, another idiom.
How about a little bird told me?
I've heard that. It's when you know something but don't want to say how you know.
Exactly. It's a playful way to share information without revealing your source. Sort of mysterious.
How did you know about the surprise party?
Oh, a little bird told me.
Precisely.
Okay, idioms are fun. Let's head back inside. Maybe the kitchen this time. Kitchen tools.
Good idea. Lots of specific names there. What's that flat thing you use for flipping pancakes or burgers?
The flipper. No, wait, a spatula. Spatula. That's it. And yeah, sometimes that sound gets a bit soft, almost like cheek. Spatula.
Spatula. Okay, what about the tool with wires for mixing eggs or batter?
That's a whisk. Gotta get that Y sound at the start. Whisk.
Whisk, got it.
Yeah.
And to take hot things out of the oven.
You need an oven mitt, like a big, thick glove to protect your hand. Note the Y sound in oven.
Oven mitt, okay. Super basic one. H2O.
Water, essential word. And like you said, in American English, that ton often sounds like a softie. Waiter.
Waiter, yeah, you hear that a lot. What if you're cooking meat and need to check if it's done?
You do the cooking thermometer or meat thermometer. Stick it in to check the internal temperature, pronounced meat.
Thermometer. Okay. Appliance for making perfect rice.
That would be a rice cooker. Very convenient. Good R sounds in rice and cooker.
Rice cooker. And the absolute basics for eating.
Your cutlery or silverware, a fork, spoon, and a knife. Remember, the K in knife is silent.
Fork, spoon, knife, and sometimes.
Chopsticks, depending on the food or culture.
Right. Okay, kitchen cupboard. How about shopping? Money.
Sure. Where you keep your cash and cards.
In my wallet.
Wallet, exactly. Make sure you hit both little sounds.
Wallet, okay. What if you buy something, like clothes, and it's the wrong size?
It doesn't fit, so you usually return it to the store.
And hopefully you get
For a refund. You get your money back.
refund. Good word. What if you want to pay for your friend's coffee?
You can say, it's my treat, or my treat means I'll pay.
Nice gesture. What if something is incredibly expensive?
You might use the idiom, it cost an arm and a leg.
Meaning very, very pricey. Not literally, of course.
Definitely not literally, it just emphasizes the high cost.
Okay. And if you have absolutely no money right now?
The common informal way to say that is, I'm broke.
I'm broke means empty wallet.
Pretty much. Oh, and a custom in the U.S. when giving gifts.
Usually scratch off the price tag, right? So the person doesn't see the cost.
Exactly. Considered polite.
And when you pay at the store, what are the main options?
You can pay with cash bills and coins, or use a card,
Which could be a car.
a debit card, which takes money directly from your bank account, or a credit card, where you're essentially borrowing money to pay back later.
Cash, debit card, credit card.
Got it.
Okay, shifting to the modern world. Yeah. Technology.
Phones, computers.
Right. On your phone, those little programs you use. Games, social media, banking.
Your applications, but everyone just calls them apps, right?
Apps, exactly. Much shorter.
What keeps your phone running? The power source.
That's the battery. And again, that sound might soften to a D in American English. Battery.
Battery. Okay. And when the battery runs low, you need your
Phone charger to plug it in and recharge it.
phone charger. Makes sense. What about things like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok?
So that whole category is called social media.
Social media, okay? And the device itself.
Your phone, remember phi makes an F sound?
Phone. And the bigger machine you might use for work or browsing at a desk.
A computer. And again, that tan might sound like a D. Computer. Computer. Okay, tech basics covered. How about a quick tour of some famous places in the U.S.? Just the names and pronunciation.
Sounds fun. Let's start on the West Coast. Big city there.
Los Angeles. But people often just say
L.A. Just the initials.
Yeah.
Very common.
L.A. Okay. Big theme park complex in Florida.
Disney World. Gotta get the world sound right.
Disney World.
Yeah.
East Coast now. The Big Apple.
New York City. Often shortened to NYC. And again, city might sound like city.
New York City. Okay. The U.S. capital.
Washington, D.C. Or people very often just say D.C.
D.C. Got it.
Yeah.
Tropical island state.
Hawaii. Pronounce all three syllables. Hawaii.
Hawaii. Beautiful. Another famous West Coast city, known for a big red bridge.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. And the state where L.A. and San Francisco are?
California. Make sure you get that fornia sound at the end. California.
California. Okay, cool. Quick tour. Let's switch back to vehicles and maybe construction.
Sure. On the roads, when there's construction work, you see those orange things blocking the way. Oh, yeah. Construction cones? Or sometimes bigger barriers.
Exactly. Cones or barricades to guide traffic or block areas.
Okay. What about the big machine that lifts heavy stuff on building sites?
That's a crane. Interesting word because it's also a type of bird.
Right, the tall bird with the long neck. But here, the machine. Crane.
Mm-hmm. What about a large vehicle for carrying goods?
A truck, and those really big ones with a separate cab and trailer.
You might call that a semi-truck or just a semi.
Okay, red truck, loud noise, rushes to emergencies.
A fire truck. And that loud noise is its siren.
Siren, right? What if your car stops working on the highway?
Your car broke down. You'd likely need to call a tow truck to come and haul it away.
Tow truck. Hope you don't need one often. What about the trucks that carry dirt or gravel and then tilt to empty it?
Those are dump trucks because they can well, dump their load.
Dump truck. Makes sense. Okay, one last category maybe. Patterns on clothes.
Ooh, good one. Patterns. What do you call a pattern with lots of small, round, evenly spaced spots?
Polka dots. Polka dots. Exactly. Or you could just say it has dots or it's dotted.
Okay, what about the pattern with intersecting colored lines, often seen on flannel shirts, lots of squares?
That's plaid.
Plaid. Okay. What if the lines aren't straight but go back and forth sharply?
Like a lightning bolt pattern. Those are zigzags.
Zigzags. And just straight parallel lines of color.
Those are stripes. Can be thick stripes, thin stripes.
Stripes. Simple enough. What if a shirt has, like, the name or symbol of a company on it?
That's a logo. And sometimes schools might have rules about clothing, a dress code.
Right.
That might say, for example, no logos allowed.
Oh. And the opposite of having a pattern, just one single color.
That's solid colored. So a shirt could be solid colored blue, or it could have a pattern like stripes or plaid.
Solid colored versus pattern.
Right.
Got it. Wow. Well, we have certainly covered a huge amount of ground today.
We really have, from clothes to springtime, health, makeup, names, weather, idioms, kitchen stuff, shopping, tech, places, vehicles, patterns. It's a lot.
It really is. It's amazing how many of these sort of simple words and phrases really make up the fabric of everyday English chat.
Absolutely. They're the building blocks.
So maybe take a moment now. Just reflect on everything we've talked about. Which words or phrases were maybe new to you?
Yeah, or which ones do you feel a bit more confident about using now? Because understanding these basics is just so crucial for feeling comfortable in English.
It really builds that solid foundation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For, more complex stuff later on.
Definitely.
And we really hope this deep dive has, well, given you some useful insights. Maybe a few of those little aha moments.
Yeah, those are always good. And, we really encourage you to listen out for these words and phrases as you encounter English.
Yeah. Pay attention when you're watching movies or listening to music or talking to people.
And don't be afraid to try using them yourself. Practice really is the key to making them feel natural.
That's excellent advice. And of course, if you found this deep dive helpful, please do consider liking it, maybe sharing it with someone else who might find it useful.
And subscribing to the channel definitely helps us keep bringing you more content like this, exploring language and, well, all sorts of interesting topics.
Yeah, we really appreciate your support. It means a lot.
We genuinely enjoy putting these together and hopefully helping you expand your understanding.
So thanks so much for joining us today for this really comprehensive look at common English vocabulary.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Until our next deep dive, keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll talk to you soon.